Picture this: Paris, 1938. A car rolls onto the boulevard so glamorous that even the chandeliers at the Grand Palais seem to dim in shame. A Frenchman gasps, an American smirks, and my friend Jimmy, bless him, asks, "Wait, is that thing breathing through its nose?" Because yes, this car had nostrils, big ones, twin-grill shark nose nostrils, like the car itself was inhaling confidence and exhaling style. They called it the Graham 97 Cabriolet by Saoutchik, but really, it was a fashion statement with 4 wheels and a supercharger. Built by Graham Page, a small American automaker fighting for survival in the late 1930s, the Model 97 was their moonshot, a last dance before the financial floor collapsed beneath them. It wasn't enough to make another sedan, they needed a miracle. So they turned their radical new shark nose design, a sleek, streamlined front end years ahead of its time, into something fit for Paris couture. To do it, they shipped the chassis across the Atlantic, straight into the hands of France's most flamboyant coach builder, Jacques Saoutchik. What emerged was not merely a car, but a diplomatic marriage between Detroit engineering and Parisian excess. Saoutchik was no ordinary designer. He didn't just build bodies, he sculpted temptations. Each of his cars looked like they might wink at you under the lamplight. When the Graham chassis arrived, he saw not a car, but a blank canvas begging for scandal. He gave it sweeping fenders like waves, a body that shimmered like liquid nickel, and doors so elegantly curved they seemed alive. He dressed the interior in hand-stitched leather and exotic wood veneers, not to show wealth, but to remind you that humans could still create beauty in a world about to collapse into war. For Saoutchik, this car wasn't transportation, it was defiance. But beauty, as always, comes with tragedy. Graham's bold design was too strange for conservative American buyers. The public whispered, "It looks like it's smiling at me." Dealers couldn't sell them, bankers lost patience. And in Europe, as Saoutchik's one-off cabriolet glittered under the 1938 Paris Motor Show lights, shadows gathered outside the hall. Hitler had already taken Austria. War was no longer a rumor, it was a calendar date. No one wanted to buy a luxury car when the sky itself felt temporary. The Graham 97 was too perfect for its moment, a peacock born in a thunderstorm. When war came, Saoutchik's workshop turned silent. The once golden boulevards of Paris went grey. The Graham Cabriolet vanished, not destroyed, not forgotten, just disappeared. Rumors whispered that it had been hidden in a countryside barn, protected by its owner, a wealthy industrialist who refused to see it seized by occupying forces. There it stayed, dust settling like time's signature through bombings, liberation, and the long silence after victory. Decades later, when the doors of that barn finally creaked open, the car sat there like a time capsule wearing the perfume of 1938. Still proud, still breathing through those famous nostrils. In the late 20th century, the cabriolet resurfaced in America, its birthplace, though few remembered it. Restorers wept at the craftsmanship, the hand-beaten aluminum, the hidden chrome, the audacity of its curves. When it finally returned to life at Pebble Beach, the crowd didn't cheer. They whispered, it wasn't applause, it was reverence. Before them stood not just a car, but a survivor, a machine that had crossed continents, wars, and obscurity, and still managed to look like it was late for a gala. Under its long, elegant hood lived an American heart, a supercharged 3.6-liter straight six, producing around 115 horsepower. It wasn't about speed, it was about presence. When it idled, it didn't growl, it purred, the way a cat purrs before deciding whether or not to destroy the drapes. The shark-nose front end wasn't decoration, it was aerodynamics before the word was fashionable. Airflow hugged its curves, the headlights recessed, the fenders tapering like a whisper into motion. Every detail was functional, poetry, beauty, and engineering dancing in time. The Graham 97 Cabriolet by Saoutchik stands today as proof that desperation can create art. That even when companies crumble and nations go to war, a few human beings will still take the time to make something beautiful, simply because they can. It's the story of a failed company, a forgotten craftsman, and a car that outlived them both by refusing to be ordinary. So the next time your engine sputters or your project falls apart, remember this. In 1938, a dying car company and a dreamer in Paris made something the world wasn't ready for, and it still turns heads 80 years later. Stay curious. Stay inspired, and if your car ever breathes through its nose, don't worry. It might just be a genius in disguise. If you enjoyed this story, give it a like, subscribe to Car History, and keep the wheels turning because every car has a past worth remembering.